All right, to the Telegraph, Leo, and now the BBC is claiming that the BBC is biased. How's that for unbiased?
So, Jewish BBC staff lodge a formal complaint about anti-Semitism and Gary Lineker, or more than one complaint. And these complaints have come after Gary Lineker shared and then deleted a message calling for Israel to be banned from international football tournaments. And he also shared a video of a discussion between people where they argued that Israel was engaged in genocidal killings. This is really, you know, pretty full-on nasty stuff. And so the fact that Gary Lineker is allowed to freely do this on his social media without, you know, getting in any trouble, and also the BBC's biased reporting of the coverage in Gaza means that a lot of Jewish staff are unhappy. It says here, so many Jews believe the BBC are anti-Semitic. So yeah, it's interesting that Gary Lineker tweets all this stuff about Israel. He hasn't mentioned anything. He's been completely silent about Muslims dying at the hands of other Muslims, you know, in the Middle East or in Africa, or Muslims dying at the hands of Chinese people, the Uyghur Muslims. So he does seem to be very selective. It does seem to be only when it's Jews and only when Jews are involved that Gary Lineker gets upset, which is, ironically, just like Nazi.
Except when it's Jews getting murdered, because he didn't tweet on October 7th, and then he lied and said that he did.
Yeah.
But apart from that, I don't really have an opinion on this. No, this is... we actually have a colleague who works here at GB News who used to work at the BBC and left in disgust with... It's BBC News' anti-Semitism. This has been a long time coming. This is not some new phenomenon. They did I think it was McPherson report. There was a report that came out that they wrote specifically into this, and the BBC have never released it, all about anti-Semitism within the BBC. Having these employees... feel unsafe at work. And I remember, I know this isn't the BBC, the Guardian had a similar thing. One of their employees quit and wrote this letter about their experiences and how October 7th was minimised, and even people laughing. It's not good. But when you certainly expect this from our national broadcaster, when it's meant to be impartial, it's not a good look for the BBC. And they haven't... The fact is that they haven't covered themselves in glory. The reporting of the hospital that got bombed by Israel, turns out it wasn't bombed by Israel, and it wasn't bombed at all. The hospital is a car park. There's been a myriad of different incidents.
Some of the language as well. Like you said, Israel's happy to kill civilians. Yeah. I mean, that's weighted language.
Yeah, and some things just outright lies. So I'm glad I don't work at the BBC. Not that they'd have me. But this is an issue. We are paying our fees to them.
Oh, no, he's not.
Oh, you're not. Yeah. Okay, well...
Why would you pay for something you don't have to pay?
Well, I'm paying my... But what they're looking at, the government is changing the relationship with Ofcom, because at the moment the BBC... they will take any complaints internally and then deal with it and then go, oh, it's like marking your own homework. And then they go, yeah, we'll give it, oh, well, yeah, OK, we'll let Ofcom look at it now. And now it seems like Ofcom's going to have a bit more power, which is good. I'm still smarting from what happened in the Hanukkah bus 2 years ago, where basically the BBC lied and said that the Jewish kids had been insulting Muslims, and they weren't. They were just speaking in Hebrew, and it was mistranslated. It was proven extensively that this isn't what happened. They've still got it on their website as such, and they've never explained any culpability or anybody who could be blamed. I think they're disgusting. There's no accountability there.